Therapy is a piece of art that is based on a 3-year-old art I have, which is this guy over here. So when AI generated art drawings, you're not supposed to call it art. AI generated art, I don't care what you're gonna do. Started with services like Midjourney. I was really happy to create something nice, and then I would slap a piece of text and I would just put this weird thing in context. I'm like, okay, this is how therapy feels like. Now, choosing what pieces of art would be my very first collection available to sell on my website. I love therapy. I love this guy. I printed on stickers. I have sold some years ago. I'm like, I like this, but I don't want to put this because it's AI generated, the drawing. I shouldn't be putting AI generated art to start with as an artist. At this moment where it's really frowned upon. Plus, I don't like it's nice from distance. The concept is nice. So this is the concept. But the implementation, and this is a very old creation, like a 2 or 3 year old creation of AI, it's not good. When you look the components, they scream of AI, and this is not appreciated. I'm like, okay, so I have to do it my way, right? So I chose what components to put on, and each of the components is a reference. It's very hard to promote my own art and just praise it, because when I see something that I call a final product, I always see things that I would really like to make different. And this goes in my head all the time, but at some point I said, okay, that's good enough. And also, that's why it's very useful, the monthly deadline. I'm like, okay, I'll stop working on this now. If I try to sell it again in another version, to launch it again, to promote it again, okay, I will improve it. But now we stop and we work on the next project. Otherwise, I will become crazy. So yeah, it's full of cultural references, and it maintains the original vibe of a mess, emotionally, mentally, physically, all this mess. And that somehow correlates with the notion of doing therapy or needing therapy or whatever. It's a little bit abstract. It's a little bit like notionally playful, if I might say. And it's available at imakegoodart.com until the end of January 2026, together with its 5 siblings: Snow, 100 kilometers, Call Mom, and Happy Foot Bones, Happy 26. I should go through the elements of it, I guess, if I'm presenting the art. So let me try to do that. So the obvious, cigarette. We have the Mario tubes from the game of Mario. We have the Om meditation symbol here. We have this snake, which is a very, very poisonous snake. It's called Russell's Viper. And I'm gonna butcher those words because I don't know how to pronounce them. Kaaba is this holy place in Mecca that people can go, but you're not supposed to go through this door. No, almost nobody goes inside, they just pray outside. Then we have this Hanukkah, how is this called? Hanukkah menorah, this Jewish symbol. We have a cigarette, of course. This is supposed to be quantum foam for some reason. I thought, obviously there is no representation of quantum foam, but I thought this is quantum foam. And the rosebud from the movie Citizen Kane. Rosebud is the name of the sledge, and it had this very specific imprint on it. And then we have the severed leg here, and in the middle this is the Buddhist flag symbol called Dharma chakra, whatever. And the head of the woman, and there's a chocolate cake here. This has no symbolism, those have no symbolism. Yeah, this also has no symbolism. And these are just a bunch of assorted symbols that mean something, and actually they may mean something very important to some people. So, aggregated together, I would like to call this art. And in terms of considering the possibility that this can be offensive to someone because I use holy or sacred symbols, okay, but these symbols are also cultural memes. And I would like to believe I put things that are at least positive. So I associate something positive for you that somebody else doesn't care about at all to something positive for somebody else. So hopefully the most negative emotion, the most offended you can feel by seeing your symbol hanging out with the other symbols is that my symbol is so much more important than the others that it doesn't belong here. But it's not that I created a famously negative symbol, like a swastika or some shit, or a satanistic thing. I didn't put anything negative here, is my point. Maybe the cigarette is the most negative symbol, I would say. And the snake. But the snake bites the Om symbol, and maybe you have to be careful. Maybe, I don't know, like, we can create any type of symbolism. And I would love to put this art, in a gallery, and people say, oh, this means that this is aggressively correlated with that in juxtaposition of the other thing. I will nod my head and say, yes, exactly. You figured it out, my friend. That was exactly what I was going for. And then the other person comes and says, oh, you mean that Mario has a cultural significance of meditative, like, yes, exactly. That's exactly what I meant. Do you mean that the severe foot symbolizes the frostbite that the Buddhist monks have? Like, yes, exactly, in Nepal. Whatever. So they can mean anything. So that's art somehow, or at least that's how we market art as something culturally extremely significant that you can draw correlates from. So this is therapy, available at imakegoodart.com. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.